Welcome at Long Term Talks. It's your boy Brian Suarez the Water, and today we're going to speak about the 1-1 draw between Everton and Tottenham Hotspurs on the Monday night in the Premier League, with a goal from Michael Keane and Harry Kane. First thing that I want to touch on is maybe the 3-4-3 formation that Tottenham used. They've been using this formation throughout the whole season. Normally it's Bentancur instead of Skip in midfield, and then it's basically almost the same lineup. You could say maybe Davis comes into the left side centre back role, and maybe you put Sessin on the wing back role. But I've seen Perisic been played out a lot on that left wing back position. But the thing for me that annoys me the most about this formation is that I always say when you play a flat two in midfield, you have two different roles in that flat two. It cannot be two types, the same player that plays in that same role. Because for me, Skip and Højbjerg are similar players. For me, who else do they use in midfield? I think Sarr is more dynamic, but is not the greatest passer. Bentancur is for me a really good player, but he's injured now. So when you use that midfield too, and even Bissouma is more dynamic, but not the greatest passer either. You have two players that really can't play forward passes that well. They can play it, but they're not the greatest. And for me, when you let Ndombele go at the start of the season, one of your most progressive passers, one of your most progressive players, he's physically good, technically good. Like I said, physically strong. He's kind of quick for a midfielder. Can keep the ball well. He's technically good. He can dribble. He can pass. He can do everything that you want in a modern day midfielder. And Tottenham decided to let him go on loan to Napoli, where he's going to win the Serie A. He's maybe not one of the main players there, but he's a player that has a skill set that would have been very useful in this Tottenham side. And I understand defensively he's not the greatest player. It's a bit like Pogba, like a little bit, might say lazy, but he's not really the most offensive aware player. But on the offense, he gives you so much. And I remember this season, I think it was on the Mourinho, the half a season where he was just smashing it, and he was just, yeah, the things that he was doing was amazing. And that's where, when you look at that balance of the team, you've got Perisic left wing back, you've got Emerson right wing back, who I think has potential to be something in that Spurs squad, but it's just not coming out. That back three doesn't look solid. I think the only one that can maybe play a little bit progressive balls from that back line is Eric Dyer. That's why he's there. He's commanding, he can play balls, but is he really the starting centre back that you need in your team? I don't know. And then you got your front three with Son, Kane, and Kulusevski. Kulusevski is a player that can score goals but can also give assists. Son is more of a finisher type, and Kane is a little bit more like Kulusevski in a sense where he can score goals and he can give assists. But my thing is, for an attacker or for a front three to thrive, you need players that can get the ball to them. And when I look at this Tottenham side, when they build up, it's always the same formula. It's always looking for that left-sided centre-back, play a 1-2 with your wing-back, and then try to get into the midfield. But then it stops. It's a lot of sideways stuff. It's a lot of, we're trying to build up from the wings, but you're taking out the qualities of a Son. You're taking out the qualities of a Kane who likes to drop into the middle. You're taking away a lot of qualities of these players because you want to keep sticking to this 3-4-3 formation. I hope when the next manager of Spurs comes in, he disregards his 3-4-3 formation. And I'm just saying this as a person that likes football. I hope you disregard that formation. I don't think that a new manager is going to come in right now. It might be, because they still have things to play for. Champions League qualification then. But yeah, that's something where I hope when a new manager comes in, and it's not going to be one of his assistants, I hope they go away from that 3-4-3 formation and try something else. Try a 4-2-3-1. Try something different. Maybe if you want to play with a back three, I can understand that. But then make a different triangle midfield. Either play with a 6 and 2 8s, play with two 6s and a 10, but try something different. And the thing is, in this squad, you don't have a number 10. So the most likely thing is he's going to play maybe with 2 8s and a 6. And then maybe play Dyer in that defensive role again, in that CDM role, because he can play those passes, and then give someone else maybe the task to be more engaging. Maybe give Sarr that task, maybe give Bissouma, because they're two players that are, I think, the most dynamic players in that midfield of Tottenham. But yeah, that's something that annoyed me. And then on the other side, we've got Sean Dyche that is doing a great job with Everton. I think they're right now 15th in the league. When he came with like 18 or 17, just about in the relegation zone. And he's done a great job, but he's done a simple job. And that's when managers come in and people say, oh, Sean Dyche is not, people might say, yeah, he's not the most tactical astute manager, but that's not true. there is things where, because if you're going to talk about Nagelsmann and he got sacked from Bayern Munich, people were saying, or the players were saying, tactically it's too confusing, it's too much. Sometimes you could say that about Pep. I think there's an art in managers making it simple for his players, innit? And it doesn't have to be the most crazy tactics. Sometimes it's just the basic things. Be solid, don't get beat, and try and nick one another in, innit? Sometimes football is very simple. But what I like about Sean Dyche is, and I think Lampard would have done the same. He done that last season as well at the back end. Just make them defensively assured, and then try get a goal from that. I think that's football's most basic foundation that you need, instead of being offensively the most craziest team. Because even when they got to 10 man and it was a stupid red card from Doucouré, because you know how a player is going to react in today's football. They get handed to the face, they lay down, and then you can have debates about Harry Kane. But yeah, when he puts his hand on Kane, you know a footballer is going to go down and try to get you a red card, because at the end of the day, everyone wants those 3 points. So that's stupid from Doucouré, but he was having a good game. I think that midfield three, if you look at Doucouré and then Gueye in midfield, they're three hard-working midfielders. So what he done with this Everton side is we're gonna make us hard to beat, and then try score on an outlet, and that's what he's done. You got the draw. Okay, it was a long distance shot from Michael Keane, but even when it was 10 man, they had the intent to come back and get that draw. And even when it was 1-1, they still went up to win that game. And that's something that I like about Sean Dyche, is when he sees an opportunity, he'll go for it, but he knows how to set up his teams against certain players. And that's maybe something I want to divert from and go back to Lampard. Lampard, you've played a certain style of football at Derby. You went Chelsea, played a certain style of football, didn't really work, and now you went to Everton and you tried to play the same style of football. And this is what I talk about in the last video about Klopp as well. When as a manager are you going to evolve? Especially when you try to play the style of football that he's tried to play at Chelsea, free flow in a lot of position switches. I understand that. They're top side, they're playing for Champions League. You've got the players that can actually play that style of football. So I understand that. But when you go to Everton, first season, and it's not working, and you almost relegate, yeah, and you save yourself by being what Sean Dyche did, being defensively assured, being strong defensively, and then look to score on the outlet. Why not learn from your lessons last year and start the season like that? Why always trying to revert back to something? And I get you got your philosophy, but I think in the philosophy of a manager is the way you want to play, and if that doesn't work, how do we want to play? And if that's not working for a whole season, same with Conte, if that is not working for a whole season, what are you going to do next to make sure that what is happening right now is being changed? That's why I like Arteta when he came at Arsenal. First thing he did was defensively good. Then we'll see Wagwan. And with Lampard now, Conte now, a lot of managers, they come in, you've got a philosophy. I know, I understand, because you want to bring a certain type of football. But when it doesn't work, you change. I think with this Everton side, the team wasn't strong enough. You lost Anthony Gordon at the transfer deadline. You lost certain players. You got more paying. But for me, that team is not strong enough to play a possession type of football. So why are you trying to play that way? Set up your team. I always say, look at your squad, look what you have, and set your team up to that standards. So if you got a team that are not good on the ball, don't try to get them on the ball. Play different. But when you've got a team who are good on the ball, then you try to play in that way. But don't do it too early. And then there's the last thing. So I'm going back to Conte as well. He got sacked. I think he got sacked mainly because of his outbursts in the media. But if you look at it, and everyone's saying Tottenham is having this horrible season, they're fourth. And for Tottenham standards, that's fine, because they're not winning anything. They're not challenging for everything. So in Tottenham standards, that's fine. But I think because the football is so bad that everyone is saying, raw, they're doing a madness. But they're not. They're actually doing okay. The only thing that you look on right now, and this is where they had a missed opportunity, because they should have won against Everton and maybe secure their place for the Champions League. And now I think personally that they've lost it. Now you're on equal points with Man United and Newcastle. But the fun thing is, Man United and Newcastle have 2 games less. So that means there's a possible 6-point difference that can be between you, Newcastle, and Man United. And that's why they should have won today to make that gap even either shorter, because I think they still have to play Man United in the league, I'm not sure, but make that difference shorter. Now, what you've done, and this is when Conte said, yeah, it's the mentality of the players are not used to playing under pressure. How is it with a 1-0 advantage at Everton, so or 1-0 advantage at Everton, you're up with 11 man, you're 1-0 up, and then at a certain point you lot decide, let's just stop playing football, let's just sit back. Then you get that super red card, and I understand Lucas Moura, because I play football as well. You're trying to get in, trying to get the block in, you come a little bit too late, you get a red card. That's what happens, and that's football, innit? But I don't understand how you can give away these certain positions. What they've done well this season is when they were down 2-0, 2-1, 3-2, they always managed to come back. That's something that you have to give credit to them. But it's always easier playing without the pressure. But it's harder to play with pressure on, and it's easier to play without pressure. And that's something that you've seen with Spurs. So I understand Conte. But I think he had to go anyways. He was begging to get sacked. His formation wasn't really working. He didn't really adapt to his squad after that. Didn't really change anything. Just kept. It was the funniest thing about Conte's period at Spurs was he's complaining about the players that he has, but the players that he had, he brought in himself. So he brought in a Richarlison, a Danjuma. I'm not gonna say Jet Spence because that was more of a board signing. He brought in a Bentancur, Romero, whatever. He brought in all of these players and then say he's not good enough. So that's one. And then the second thing is, cool, you see it's not working. Why do you not change your formation? Why do you not change your playing style? Why do you keep doing the same things? And I get that philosophy. But like I said, at one point, you have to either see what's happening and change it. And he didn't change it. Same thing with Lampard. He didn't change it. Sean Dyche came in, he changed it. So the new manager at Spurs, change it. But yeah, man, I was your boy Brian Sauce Duarte. This was long-term talks. I don't know how long I did it. About 11, 12 minutes, so that's calm. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. And make sure you share the video. And if you share it on Twitter, can you just please hashtag it with hashtag long-term talks. And I'll see you lot the next time. Thank you.